the ultimate Manscaped lawnmower versus the $30 Mansport knockoff against a few weeks of chest hair. The No Fade channel checking in. Jonathan here, and men, we know that if you want to have a bigger yard, you need to make sure you're cutting the grass and trimming the hedges, if you catch my drift. And when it comes to men's grooming, the biggest name in the game is Manscaped. They have been around a while, and of course their marketing budget is surpassed by no one. You cannot type men's grooming without getting a Manscaped ad, and the fact that your phone is listening in right now means you're probably gonna see a Manscaped ad in the next 24 hours. But coming in at $100 or more, are you overpaying for all of that marketing for something that maybe even under-delivers on what they claim? I've got a complete knockoff here. This is not the Manscaped, this is the Mansport Premium Men's Grooming Trimmer. I mean, even in the title, they have the nerve to use Manscaped in the title so that when you're searching on Amazon, they're gonna be higher up in the search results. Before we get into this head-to-head hedge grooming video, I wanna know from you, how are you keeping your Frank and Beans trimmed up? So right off the bat, $40 without any sales or coupons, and you know it's Amazon, they throw those things every day of the week that ends in Y, but $40 compared to $100. So you are looking pretty good right off the bat. This is waterproof if you want to use this in the shower, and as you can imagine, it's operated by battery, no cords. Battery life claims to be 20 hours. You know me, I'm super lazy. Obviously, I didn't run this thing for 20 hours straight. I got multiple full body grooming on this thing before I had to charge it up again. Now, just like Manscaped, this thing comes with ceramic blades, meaning you're not gonna get cut or nicked as much as you would with a metal blade. The problem with ceramic blades, as I've mentioned in a previous Manscaped video, is that they are going to get dull quicker over time. They're not gonna give you as close of a shave as you would like. Now, both Manscaped and Mansport offers replacement blades. I think Manscaped says you should do it every like 2 or 3 months. Mansport doesn't mention it, but they sell them. Manscapes are 15 and Mansports are 10. So as you can see, the overall idea behind Mansport is that you are going to be saving money both in the short term as well in the long term. Now, one nice thing that Mansport has over Manscaped's lawnmower is that they give you cutting guards. Now, Manscaped gives you 1 or 2, allowing you to kind of decide if you want to go ultra close or not close at all. And in fact, if you read the instructions, Manscaped actually says you need to be using a guard to make sure you don't cut yourself, which I think is a little weird considering they're claiming how close this thing gets. But the nice thing about Mansport is that they had everything from like skin level all the way up to a much higher level. So if you did want to use this on your junk, clean it off, disinfect it. You could also use it on your beard, or you could use it on your sideburns, your hair, that kind of thing. Speaking of disinfecting these, I'm gonna put a link in the description to the disinfectant that I use for all of my clippers. It's a lubricant and a disinfectant. You give it 2 sprays. 1 bottle lasts you like a few years. And it's just one of those things it's nice to have, especially if you're gonna be putting this down low and then putting it up near your face. But let's talk about my experience. Luckily for you, I am a hairy Italian. I'm like a gorilla. I got more hair than I know what to do with, so I was able to give these things a really good run for their money. Now, for the longest time, I've been using Manscaped's lawnmower. I will say right off the top, even though it's priced high for a cordless trimmer, it does the job very well. It's easy to use, it's ergonomic in the hand, it's got a little bit of a light. Once you turn it on, it's got a light here so you can see what's cooking, and it just seems to work. I will say it does get dull over time, so you are gonna wanna change out those blades, or you're gonna notice it's just not cutting as well. The battery does hold up, and it is very convenient now that they've switched over to USB-C. The Manscaped lawnmower. Now you can see pretty close, not as close as, say, a razor blade or as my plug-in Andis trimmer. Will get just a hair closer. And of course, as you saw in the video, I had to do multiple swipes, multiple passes over some of the harder areas to reach, the little ones with more nooks and crannies. And now for the $30 Mansport knockoff.
Job's done.
I will say right off the bat, I was able to cut through my hair quicker, in large part because of the wider blade. Compared to the Manscaped and some of the harder to reach areas, the Mansport was a little bit more difficult to maneuver because of that wider cutting blade. Also, I have to admit that I really like the light that comes with the Manscaped. You don't think you're going to use it, but in terms of actually seeing what you're working on, especially when you don't have great lighting situation, it is ideal. But looking down, just in terms of closeness, the Mansport actually got closer. You can, if you looked close, I don't know if you can see, there's still some patches where the Manscaped lawnmower missed, and I had to make multiple passes. I made a lot fewer multiple passes with the Mansport. The Mansport is coming in at a third of the price, $30 if there's no sales or coupons. Now, as far as the knockoff goes, I'm going to tell you, it works better than I thought. I thought for sure I was going to cut up my its and bits.
We got a bleeder!
But it does a very good job of getting fairly close and just working. It has a bigger cutting blade, which is both good and bad. If you have doing large areas like your bum or your legs or your chest, in my case, you're going to find that you probably cover more surface area like a lawnmower with the wider blade. I will say, getting into those nooks and crannies, the Manscaped was a little bit easier. One thing I wish the Mansport had copied from the Manscaped is the light. Now, the light on this thing is something you never think you're going to need. You're like, why would I need that? That's just one of those things they do for marketing that you're never going to use. It works. When you're down low, it helps a ton. Now, I will say, as far as shaving in the shower, these both will work in the shower, and a lot of people like to do that for convenience sake. I personally don't think you're going to get as close of a shave in the shower because the water is really going to impact the actual cutting. So I typically, after trying these a few times in the shower, was like, no, just not worth it. One thing you do need to know, that when you're using these, whether it's the Mansport or the Manscaped, I know it's hard to keep them straight, you want to make sure that you're pulling the skin taut. If you've got loose skin, wherever it may be, it's just not going to get as close of a shave. Now, are you going to cut yourself? If you don't use the little guards on here that they tell you you must use, you may clip yourself a little bit. Overall, it's going to give you a lot less cuts than a razor, and I think you're really not going to notice it all that much. You really have to be going fast and furious to clip yourself in a negative way, if you get my drift. But overall, I just went raw with these things. I didn't bother to use the actual guards on here because I did want to get as close as possible. Now, is this going to be as close as a plug-in trimmer? And the answer to that is absolutely not. I've got an Andis that I've had for like a year or two. That thing gets ultra close. That thing is a monster. I mean, you can use it in your sideburns, your neck, you could use it for anything, your legs, but it gets super duper close, which is really what we want. Now, the negative to that is you gotta plug it in. I'll be completely honest. I thought the lawnmower was going to blow away this competition in a head-to-head battle in terms of closeness as well as cutting ability, and I was wrong. The Mansport does appear to be just a fraction closer than the lawnmower Manscaped, but I will say that this did a better job cutting overall, and I had to make multiple passes with this thing. Which would I recommend if I was going to go with either of these? If you are on a budget, and we've all been there, we need to save every penny we can, it counts, and you still wanted to get a men's groomer, I would recommend the Mansport. Everything about it screams knockoff. Everything about it screams wonky donkey, but it did work. And if you're a lady, these actually come in pink. They basically renamed it to be like feminine, but it's the same exact thing with the pink exterior, which is kind of funny. Overall, I think that for $40, if you are on the fence and you're just like, I want that, but I don't want to pay $100 for it, pick up the Mansport. Now, if you're the type of guy that wants something that is the most convenient to use and you're willing to pay a bit more money, go with the Manscaped Lawnmower. They've really done a good job designing this to hold it very well in your hand. The light, as I mentioned, also the replaceable blade. It's also small enough to kind of get into certain areas, like if you're going to do your crotch or even do your armpits, it can kind of get into those grooves that others may not be able to. You are paying a premium for that price. And by no means am I going to tell you you're going to get a closer shave with the Manscaped than all the other knockoffs on Amazon. But it is going to give you a better experience. And if you own this for a few years, that experience will pay for itself. Another benefit of going with Manscaped, at least in my personal opinion, is the warranty. For this company, if you've got an issue, you've got 30 days, you return it to Amazon, they will take it back, no questions asked. But after 30 days, you are SOL. I mean, you gotta go over to the People's Republic of overseas to hunt down whatever fake company and shell company that this thing is hiding behind to try to get yourself a replacement or get yourself your money back. I have had issues with the Manscaped on previous units. I reached out to them and they fixed it. They literally didn't make me jump through a whole bunch of hoops. Once I gave them my order number from Amazon, they were like, oh, no problem, we're gonna send you a replacement, boom. And that is a nice thing to know, especially because, you know, if they're charging you $100 for something like this, it probably costs them $10 to make, $10 to ship, so it's convenient for them to just keep you in their good graces by giving you no issues with the warranty. At the end of the day, if you want a bigger yard, you gotta keep that landscape clean. Wink, wink, hint, hint. Something that's ultra clean, these two videos. Give them a watch, hit the like button, use the affiliate links in the description. As usual, thanks for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back.